No, it's Hello, I am William Jamar,
And I'm Hattie.
and this is our podcast, HattieJo. And it is March, and we just finished Women's History Month. So we would like to do kind of a paying homage to the women in our lives that have had a significant impact, and even non-family members, maybe people that we work with, that have had a major impact, and women that have, or at least in my opinion, had a big impact in our lives.
Great. Well, do you have someone you want to start with?
So I guess, so I kind of, in my mind, thought about this in like kind of 4 separate like categories.
Perfect.
And it was kind of like friends, family, like education, and then also kind of like work. So like I'll kind of start off with education, and just thinking about like, first of all, there's so many amazing like teachers throughout my whole like life, because as we all like, the majority of our educational system are female teachers, and women do so much in the education like field, and they should definitely get paid more. That like I just think back, there have been so many influential teachers that it's really hard to like
choose just one. Yeah.
Point at just one. But I will like say like some that stand out to me was one of the elementary school teachers, Miss Mackey. She was an African American lady, and I think she was in the 3rd grade. And I don't actually ever remember like being in Miss Mackey's class, but I always remember like Miss Mackey, like she was so hard on me. Like I feel like I never did anything right in her class. But now, like looking
but like she was your teacher. You just don't have memories of like sitting in class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way at first when you said that, I wasn't sure if she was, like supervising on recess or was another.
No.
She was your teacher.
Okay. Yes, or at least I'm pretty sure she was.
Yeah.
I just always remember her being like, I classified as being mean to me, but like in reality, all she just wanted me to like do like a really good job and like get really good grades and like to reach my full potential. And I was kind of like a kid in school that like talked a lot with my friends.
That, Mr. Social over here.
Yeah, imagine that now.
Yeah.
I'm not antisocial, but
no, you're still a very social person.
Yeah, I have my moments.
Yeah.
But so like Miss Mackey was always just like, she's always very hard on me, and I always think back, like I always thought of her as just like the mean teacher, but she really wasn't.
And now here she is getting thanked. Number 1 on the list. Thank you, Miss Mackey.
Well, she was like the earliest, and there were definitely some earlier like school teachers, and like along those same lines was my bus driver, Miss Williams. She actually still lives in the same house, right on the street from my where my grandmother currently stays, but where my other grandmother, before she passed away, where she stayed. And like she still lives in the same house. She actually now has.
So your old bus driver lives on that same lane that we always go to?
Rosewood Circle.
Yeah, wow.
And like Miss Williams, she was our bus driver, and so we were like one of the very first stops in the morning, and one of the last stops in the afternoon. So we spent a lot of time with Miss Williams, and like during that time of like intermediate and middle school, it's just a difficult time for me, and just like I caused a lot of trouble. But Miss Williams was another like African American lady who like was very, very hard on me, and like she honestly just wanted me to like do my very best.
Reach your full
yeah, and it's
tough
weird
love,
now. Yeah, it's
love.
weird now, like having like nieces and nephews that like I want them to reach their full potential, and so it's like balancing that like tough love versus like, oh, like everything's gonna be all right. Like there is some time to have like discipline and be like hard on the people that you love. And those like Miss Williams and Miss Mackey, they both like, I don't know if they love me or anything, but they definitely like, looking back, they pushed me, and they wanted me to like be my very best. And then along those lines, like I got to middle school, and Miss Frazier, who was she was my fifth grade, or she was my fifth or sixth. She was my sixth grade for sure, sixth grade, because we had Mr. Wooten for fifth grade, and Mr. Wooten is our all-time. He's a little shady, but nobody knows what has happened to him. But yeah. He was fifth grade.
Moving on.
Yeah.
This is about Women's History Month.
But yeah, so Miss Frazier, fifth grade, sixth grade. Miss Frazier helped me out with just like a lot of like social stuff. And it turns out she was actually a part of she's like a distant cousin on the Benson side. So like, she randomly, like I was in high school and she randomly showed up at my church, and she's like, yeah, Miss Aunt Nellie Mae.
We're both related to her, yeah.
Like, so Miss Frazier, but she was definitely, I consider her more of an educational woman of influence. And then, yeah, that's kind of like educational wise. There was also a professor here at Duke. And I am drawing a blank on her name.
I hate that. That happens to me all the time. Right when I need to introduce somebody or at the crucial moment, I always forget the name.
But she's actually the department chair of the sociology department here at Duke. And during the time when I was like here, like after I graduated and came back for graduate school, like I took a class with her, but she was always somebody that like just helped me kind of helped me understand that I was going through like a growth process, and like I should always keep that in mind in the decisions that I'm making. And she was just she was just very like, I just felt like a connection with her. And then I've had a number of academic coordinators, majority female, who've all been like very influential in like the person that I am.
You are now.
Yeah. So like, to all those educators, Casey King, who's now at Florida State, they just all had like a huge impact on the person, and they weren't getting paid like bukus of bucks to work with me or anything, but they all just like did it out of the kindness of their heart. And I really I just can't do anything but just say thank you to them, like in honor of this Women's History Month. Like these are like women that have had a profound effect on my life. Say thank you.
That's excellent.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I was thinking less along those lines of education, but as soon as you mentioned it, thinking back, I had several very influential teachers. For instance, my first and second grade teacher, because we had her for first and second grade, Mrs. Shorey, but now she's Mrs. Rose. Just one of those things that first and second grade, it kind of sparked me on this certain path. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to describe when you're so little, but looking back now, you could definitely tell that she knew she was teaching like gifted kids and how to spark their interest and keep them excited about learning, mm-hmm. and kind of start that passion at such an early age, which I think is amazing. And, even up through 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, we were like, oh, we love Miss Rose, just one of those teachers that even after you move on out of their class, they still love you and, ask about how you're doing, and, you want to go back and help in their classroom at this, you know what I mean? So yeah, tons of really good teachers in my life too, and through my high school especially, I felt I had I wouldn't necessarily say equal male and female. It's still more male, or it's still more female.
Huh.
but I felt that all my high school teachers were very good at bringing out the best in each of the students. And I appreciated that, they didn't take any BS. They, made us do our work, and it was a lot. I mean, the IB program was difficult, and they made no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? Like, they were real about it. But they definitely were instrumental in helping me achieve my goals. So, I think the educators in life are really important. And kind of going along those same lines, I would say my gymnastics coaches are in a similar vein. Again, however, though, I would say for every female gymnastics coach I had, there was like a male counterpart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I know at Jet there was J.A. and Emily, right? And then they were the owners and kind of the head coaches. And then below them was Tony and Debbie. And they got married and had kids. And obviously Jay and Emily were married and had kids. And then at Chatfield, there was Hong and Michelle, right? And then at Jen's gym, there was obviously Mary Beth and Steve. Yes. So I guess I should also mention Miss Vicky, who was the original owner of that gym, that business. And so, I feel like this is supposed to be about the women, but I can't really do it justice without also mentioning coaches as well. Tons of important life lessons, and especially, so this one was kind of, I kind of had in mind more just like the family and friends. Okay. But this one, because you started on the topic of education, I wanted to give a shout out to all my amazing educators and coaches, but this one kind of falls within several barrels, one being coach, educator, one being friend, one being almost family. And that would definitely be Mary Beth, my best friend's mom. She's like a second mom to me. So,
hey, Mary Beth.
Yeah, love Mary Beth. And I mean Jen too. Like Jen and Mary Beth both just so kind, so caring, loyal almost to a fault, and just really was there for me in a lot of times in my life. And Mary Beth always went out of her way to make me feel like part of the family. She would always refer to me as her second daughter. Like Jen's little sister's coming over, just.
And you sit like a lot
all
of
the time over there, all the time. Like probably 2 or 3 nights a week, I felt like I was spending at their house. And she just welcomed me with open arms, and all my silliness, all my craziness, all my childish, like she had no expectations that I was where I needed to be, right? Like she didn't expect me to be anything beyond what I was, but she knew that, like she had, I don't know how to say this, she had high expectations for me, but she allowed me the space to be my child self. Yeah. So she had high expectations and knew I could get to great places and was going to help me get there, but she didn't, like, she didn't hold it against me that I was not there yet, right? Like I was still in a maturing phase, and she was very understanding of that. And I think she just did a great job of kind of more subtly molding me than I would say like a full parent. So shout out to Mary Beth, a very special place in my heart, and has done a lot for me over the years. So thank you very much, Mary Beth.
Well, just going back quickly, the professor that was at Duke, that's over the Department of Sociology, is Dr. Linda Burton.
I've heard you mention her before.
So she is amazing. So I guess we can kind of continue on. I would say, like, just kind of friends, and I guess, friends. I'm going to combine friends and work, because a lot of the people that I work with now, I honestly consider them friends. And I would say, like, just, like, there's 4 women that I'm thinking of. Charlie, who lives here in North Carolina. She is absolutely one of my, like, dearest friends. And
hey, Charlie.
We've had her on she's a friend of the podcast. And she was definitely, like, she's definitely been a really good friend of mine over the years, and just like seeking advice, and like telling her about like things that are going on in family and stuff, and she was just always willing and to lend an ear to me and somebody that I could bounce stuff off of. And when I was doing good, when I wasn't doing good,
she'll let you know.
Yeah. And she would always she was somebody that would always like point me like in good directions. Like maybe she sent me like some books and stuff. So she's just somebody that has always like had my well-being.
Yeah, I feel like she has a lot of really good life experiences, and I feel like she's one of those people that looks out for you. You know what I mean? Like, not that she does anything specifically of like, oh, I need to go, whatever, but you just know that she's got your back, you know, and she's one of those people you can count on, and that is very clear from the moment that you introduced me to her, and I think you guys have a great friendship. I think it's really special. So
yeah, and along those lines, I would also say Tassie.
Everything I just said, I feel like applies to Tassie too. Yeah.
Tassie is just one of my good friends. She lives here in Durham, and we've always
also a friend of the podcast. Also has been on. Yeah.
But Tassie is just another, like, literally somebody that I feel like is a really good friend. Somebody that I take time to like check in on.
And she does the same.
Yeah, she definitely does the same. Probably more than I do to her, but like just a very good friend and
very
just
caring person.
Somebody that I can bounce ideas and thoughts off of and like check in. There's not really any like judgment or anything.
I kind of feel the same about Tassie and Charlie in that they are both very, I don't necessarily want to say sure of themselves, but very comfortable as the people that they are.
Yes.
And it's very easy to be around them because they allow you as their good friend and me by, I'm getting to be much better friends with both of them, to just be ourselves, right? You mentioned the no judgment with Tassie, and she just creates this air of easiness. It's easy to be around her. It's easy to talk to her and chat to her. And I feel like both of them are very much accepting of who you are as you are, right? Because they've kind of, or at least the impression they give to me is that they've kind of reached that level of self-acceptance. So, they're not afraid to tell you, that's ridiculous. Or, this is amazing, really proud of you. But it's not coming from a place of judgment or harshness. It's truly you're important to me. Yes. I've got your back, and so I'm going to give you this tough love, right? Like this tough advice right now if you need it, right? But at the same time, like your biggest supporters and all the great things. So it's easy to pick up on that when I'm introduced to you guys as friendships. So I think that's really great. Good job, Tassie and Charlie.
Yeah, and then like just the two other women that have been like really influential, which I'm sure you could probably guess, but Leslie Barnes and Jackie Seiler, they're my bosses. Leslie's the director of student athlete development, and assistant athletic director, and Jackie is the SWA at Duke. They are both just amazing women. They have amazing leadership styles. And I really feel like over the last 4.5, 5 years that I've been working with them, it's been amazing to see them grow as leaders and be able to like kind of be what our athletic department needs and kind of give us the shot in the arm and be the leaders across campus. But also just to see them and their friendship to me, it has really grown over the years, and I enjoy working with them, and they're amazing people, they're amazing leaders, and I thank them for their friendship.
And I think they've been good mentors for you too.
Yeah, they really have. And they push me to continue to get better, and just as leaders. I can't say that enough. It's interesting coming off recently in the news, Muffy McGraw from the women's basketball coach at Notre Dame talked about the fact that there aren't enough female leaders in athletics and in society, and how like
And how lucky you are to work
Yeah.
with two great leaders.
I am
You know,
definitely lucky to work with Leslie and Jackie, and like it's amazing to see like how much they push me and how much they've allowed me to like grow in my own leadership style, and I really appreciate them.
Good. Yeah, I remember when you introduced me to them for the first time. You were like nervous, like a long time ago when we started dating.
Was I that nervous? I don't feel like I
You
was
seemed
that
like you were a
nervous.
little nervous.
Huh.
Maybe
you
I
were
was really
Maybe you were.
nervous. Maybe I'm projecting. I was nervous. That's for certain. But yeah, I think that's a great point. Something I've definitely noticed in my current work situation, which again, I would be remiss if I didn't mention how awesome of a mentor and advisor Lou is, my advisor Lou DeFreight. But our lab, it's an engineering lab and it's predominantly female. So we like to be excited about that because it's just unique. And, you can work with a great group of people and then you can work with like your tribe. And I really feel like working in Lou's lab, I've found my tribe. There's an expression that I think is a little silly but also a little appropriate, which maybe not an expression but like a meme that's been going around the internet that's saying, be the type of woman that fixes another woman's crown without telling the world it was tilted. So kind of the concept of supporting each other, not competing against each other so much.
Yeah.
But if we all are in this together, we can make things even better. And by lifting you up, I can lift myself and all of us up as well. And I definitely feel that I have that with the people in Lou's lab. So Sophia, Zoe, Amber, Lauren, just a great group of people. I can come to them with any of my problems. They're there to help me on a drop of a hat. I feel like I would do the same for them. I have done the same for them, and just whether it's a work problem, a life problem, any other type of problem, I just feel like we share a really close bond.
Yeah.
And so that's something I feel really blessed to have. And not that other places I've worked haven't had great people. They definitely have. But there's something special about this group. And I'm really blessed every day to go to work there. So, girl power.
Oh. Well, I guess the kind of final area would be family, and as a male, I have basically been raised by females, from both of my grandmothers, to my mom, to my aunts, to my cousins that were older than me. There are so many females in my family that have been an integral part of my development and my growth. And I guess first my mom, I definitely get my spirit of who I am as a person from her, and kind of that foundation of always trying to be a good person, no matter what I do. Just ultimately, when you ask the question, are you a good person? I think that I can say I am a good person, and every day I try and be a good person, and I definitely I get that from my mom, and her spirit and who she is as a person. And then just they say, the old saying is, it takes a village to raise a child, and definitely my aunt Cynthia, my aunt Sarah, or Aunt Sharon, my Aunt Bale, who's passed away. There's so many aunts. Aunt May Lou. There's so many aunts that took me in and cared for me, and if I needed something, they were there. My Aunt Cynthia, she was kind of like example that I tried to follow best. If there was an example, because like she had her daughter Erica, who's my cousin. Erica was one of the first one of us to go off to college, and like,
That's awesome.
I really wanted to do that and following kind of Erica's footsteps. And when we were younger, Erica kind of like I would hang around them a lot, and Erica kind of got me into R&B music and like listening to that a lot.
So we can thank Erica for good taste in music.
And just kind of like my cousin Tamika, who's passed away, but she was the one that taught me that I can't fight.
Good, important lesson to learn.
One that I learned at an early age, and I will, like, if I have to, I will, but she definitely taught me, like,
your nature is not a fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you gotta go all the way in. And so I kind of have that. I got that from her, and although she's not with us anymore, hopefully, like, she's looking down on us, and she's proud of what we're able to do. So I would definitely, like, it's just so many women in my family that were a major impact, and I can't say thank you enough. And I haven't even, like, really mentioned my grandmother on, like, both sides. My grandmother Catherine and my grandmother Sarah. I spent so many nights with them. The safety and security that they offered me, and spending weekends with them, like it can't be measured, and there's no way I can say thank you enough for what they've done for me, and hopefully, like, as I live my life, it's like they can at least say that they're proud of me.
They definitely can be,
because there's been so many women that have been an influence on my life, but definitely, like, my mom, my grandmother, and both my grandmothers, they had the biggest impact. And, like, they were just always there for me whenever I needed something. And they were literally the rock which upon, like, I can always, like, reflect back on and be like, this is who I am. And so
I like that. I like that a lot. That's awesome, baby. So I have a couple women I'd like to mention, and the first is my group of friends. So, and I would refer to all of these women as ride or dies, you know, people I've grown with over the years, people who've been there for me through thick and thin. So Jen, we kind of mentioned Jen with her mom, Mary Beth, but my best friend from high school, my best friend of all time. Oh, I love you, Jen, so much. I feel like she knows the true, real me, and she's always been accepting of it, and she's just the same, you know, so we are just two peas in a pod. We have our differences, but they work well together, and
yes,
overall, we're two peas in a pod, and just a special bond that, you know, you don't come across very often. So, yeah, when I think about all my best memories, they're with her, you know, and you can't quantify the impact that someone like that has on your life. Just all the joy, all the fun that she's added is immeasurable. And even though it was just a short period of time, I met her freshman year of high school, and then by my junior year, she had gone off to college because she was 2 years older than me. It was like a lifetime packed into those 2 years, and obviously we hung out a ton after. She just posted a picture of when I came to visit her at her regional gymnastics championships when she was in college.
Yeah.
And I was still in high school. So, and we've gone on tons of trips together since then. So it's not like it was only those two, but those 2 years were like kind of 50 years worth of lifetime moments. Yeah. And just inside jokes out the wazoo. Like she and I were the type of thing where we could just look across the gym at each other and know what the other was thinking. You know, like we didn't need words to communicate. Like we just knew. So yeah, Jen, and then Lauren Hughes, my other best friend, my wifey. again, thick and thin. She's just so caring. I don't know how to describe it, but she has the biggest heart I've ever met. And she really makes you feel loved, and you know, she has that big heart and lets you know that you're in it, and that's something I truly treasure. And she's so understanding, such a good listener, and I feel like she and I also have a lot of differences, but a lot of similarities.
Yes.
And that makes our friendship really strong. So I really appreciate her. And Holly Nichols, I was going to say Holly Coquinto, but now she's Holly Nichols. Likewise, I feel like she and I are great friends. And again, just someone that's always been there to help me out, always been there to talk to, and so I really appreciate that. But in terms of family, I definitely have to say there's two women that I really want to highlight. The first is my great-grandmother Hattie, my namesake. And although I don't have many memories of her directly, because I was very young when she passed away, I think my only real memories that I can definitely remember as mine and not as someone's told me this story so many times I think I remember it, was being there and her fixing toast with molasses. It's so delicious. And me calling...
Toast with molasses.
It's good. It's really good. Going to Nana's and fixing toast with molasses, and me calling her Banana instead of Nana, because I was like 2. But that last one, that banana one, might be a transplanted memory. But I definitely remember the molasses. It was good. But anyhow, I want to mention her because not only is she my namesake, but she's my dad's paternal grandmother. Mm-hmm. So my grandfather to his mother. And all of my dad's siblings talk about her with such reverence. And my grampy talked about her with such reverence. And it's just so clear that this person made a huge impact on all of these people's lives. And even my mom will talk about how she was just the most generous, most ladylike, most loving, you know, just walked into a room and you immediately felt better because she was there. And I've heard so many stories about things she's done or things she's said, and it's just being named after her. You know, a lot of my family will say, like, oh, you remind me of this about Grandma Hattie, or like, she would be so proud of you, all these things, and it just makes my heart swell with pride and joy to be like anywhere near or associated with someone like this. That, you know, my dad tears up every time he talks about her. My uncles do the same thing. You know, they all hold her in such high esteem that it's such an honor to be even tangentially related. Yeah. So, and I think she's had a trickle down type of effect in that she kind of led my dad and all my uncles and aunt up to be a certain way, you know, like just bestowed on them so much love, so much kindness, and this is the way we do things, and they have in turn done that for us, right? So I feel like a lot of her values have been passed down through the generations. So that's really special to me. But number one, most important, I want to give a shout out to my mom. I love my mom so much.
Hi, Kim.
Yeah. She's just been there for me through everything. I can talk to her about anything. And when I was, younger, I guess maybe in high school, middle school, high school, I would kind of be annoyed by her. You know, like, oh, she was just prying. I don't want to, mom's always asking me all these questions. Like, well, leave me alone, mom. But I'm sorry, mom, if I was terrible, like, when you were just trying to love me. But now I'll tell you anything, everything. And I love that you're just so open and caring and will listen no matter what the problem is. And I feel like she's led by example and in just about how to be a good person, how to be a respectful person, how to treat other people, and how to show them that you care. And I just can't enumerate all the things she's done for me, for which I'm so, so eternally grateful. So you did a good job, Mom. And it's kind of like you said, you just can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
And so, it's quite a profound impact when you think about it. all the things these people have done for you, and the time they've taken out of their day, and the things they've done above and beyond the call of duty to make things easier for you, or better for you, or just to make you feel better. So yeah, really, really good stuff.
Well, definitely, like, I think to close this out, like, there are so many women out there that are kind of, I would venture to say, that have had an impact on, like, all of our lives, the way that they've impacted the women that we've talked about in this podcast have impacted our lives. So if there are women out there that have had an impact on you, I would encourage you to go say thank you, because a lot of times women don't get the respect
or recognition,
or
they're often taken for granted.
Yeah, that they deserve, and we can all do a little something to say thank you to the people in our lives, specifically the women who do so much to make us who we are. So,
and all the women out there that feel like they're doing thankless jobs, it does have a difference, and it is being noticed, and even if it's not consciously noticed right now or acknowledged, it's making a huge difference. So thank you. And I would say that's what we're doing.
Deuces. Women's History Month.